Hello, are we enjoying the change of scenery? I figured everyone was getting a little tired of the office. So this is a little bit different. I am currently near the tail end of Sequelathon, but I'm not going to have a video up and ready for tomorrow, and I really want to get things uploaded every Saturday, so I decided to do something a little bit different. So as you may know, if you've watched my channel for a while, I work in an elementary school as a special needs para, and I've decided that I want to kind of use my position as a way to get more into mid-grade, see what kids are actually reading when they get to choose what they're reading, as well as the books that they're reading for class. So I've been having a lot of fun with that, read some great books as a result of that. But now the schools are going to be merging. We have two elementary schools becoming one big one, and as a result, many library books need to be weeded out. And a lot of these library books have now become free books for the staff to take. So naturally, I decided to jump even more into mid-grade. Now, these aren't going to be any big famous books. It's not going to be Harry Potter or what have you. These are all books that have either not been checked out from the library at all in 5 years, or doubles of other books that are checked out, but not really enough to justify having multiple copies. Cappies? Yes. So I'm going to jump right in with I'd say this is the most famous of the lot that you probably recognize, and that is The Red Pyramid by Rick Riordan. Is that how you pronounce his name? I've heard it pronounced like 5 different ways on BookTube. This is in the same vein that he writes most of his books. This is basically the ancient Egyptian version of the story, wherein two siblings, find their father is missing and they have to face ancient Egyptian gods. I have not read any of Rick Riordan's. I was a little bit beyond mid-grade when Percy Jackson became really popular, although I have heard good things, so I'm excited. And I adore ancient Egypt. I wanted to be an Egyptologist when I was a kid. I've got the Wedge Jedi tattoo on my shoulder that you've probably seen before. So I was all for this. And I don't know how much I'll love it. I'll probably love it at least a little bit based on its source material. If it's good, I'll probably just continue with this series. I don't know that I'm going to jump necessarily into Percy Jackson as a whole, but I'll keep this one on the top of my list. Next up is an entire... See if I can get all 3 books up here. Ha! The entirety of a trilogy, because I figure if all 3 of them are going to be free, I was just going to take the first one and leave the other 2. And this is the Wind on Fire trilogy by William Nicholson. This involves a young girl named Kestrel who accidentally gets her family knocked down the social ladder until they're basically the untouchables. And so she has to do something pretty big to restore them. And she decides that she is going to chase after this old army leader to find a mystical key to the Windsinger, this device in the center of their city that brought harmony. And I'm not quite sure how it brought harmony and peace. The synopsis doesn't say. But it's essentially one girl trying to make up for a big mistake in a dystopian society by going after big baddies. I love the cover alone. Kind of reminded me of the kind of books that I would read when I was in middle school or late elementary, which is probably why I was so drawn to it. All I can say is I'm going to guess that her mission doesn't go very well, considering the fact that there is 2 other books. But I am excited. It seems very high adventure, and I'm looking forward to it. Next up is a kind of silly one, and that is A Choose Your Own Adventure, Mutiny in Space by, who we got here? Edward Packard and R.A. Montgomery. So it's small. I used to love these. Do you ever do what I used to do, which is like you'd pick a choice, but like you'd keep your finger in that page and then you'd flip the page to make sure that was the right choice, and if it wasn't, you'd go back. I did that all the time, like constantly. Whoops, no, sorry. But this one is pretty standard. You are an apprentice crew member on a spaceship and there's mutiny, and you basically got to decide, are you going to side with the captain or the mutineers? And I'm going to read the thing entirely. I make every choice because I want to see. I end up dying a lot in those books, though. The first choice in a Choose Your Own Adventure for me, I always end up dying, and I don't know if that's just me. Next up is Savvy by Ingrid Law. This revolves around a young girl named Mibs who comes from a very magical family. Everyone in their family gets a sort of special gift when they're 13, and young Mibs is only a couple days away from that 13th birthday when her dad ends up in the hospital. Now, she is kept at home, but she is determined that her savvy, whatever it is going to be what saves her father. So she takes it upon herself to board a bus and go to the hospital. Only one problem, the bus goes in the opposite direction of the hospital. So she instead finds herself on a journey she did not intend to go on, while uncovering what her savvy is and worrying about her father. So it seems like a lot of tension in one story, and I'm excited for that. I want to know what her savvy is. I want to know if it is going to help her father and if her father survives and just where she ends up with all of this. Oh, something in the book. Whatever. These are all old library books, which I love. I like old library books. Next up is one that is going to hopefully give me all the feels. Almost Home by Joanne Bauer. This revolves around a young girl named Sugar May and her mother Reba. They move to Chicago, and Reba decides that she needs to be not a mom for a while and leaves Sugar in foster care. And so this is all about Sugar coming to grips with not feeling like she has anywhere. I think this is all she has is like a dog and connection to an old school teacher, and that's all she has. I am hoping this will be all the feels. I really want to be a foster parent one day. It's kind of in my life plan to be one at some point in my life. So I'm really interested in that kind of story. And I also love stories that have a focus on what makes a place home, what is family. I love those themes. I always gravitate towards them. So feels, hopefully. Up next, more feels, hopefully. Faith, Hope, and Ivy Jean by Phyllis Reynolds Naylor. This is another contemporary about two 7th grade girls that enter a student exchange program and trade lives for 2 weeks. You have one who is a rather well-to-do girl from a nice big family in a nice big house who trades lives with a girl who's from the mountains and has to live with her grandparents because her parents can't afford to look after her. And it's basically the same general gist that you get in a lot of these kind of stories and learning about the other side of the world and that kind of thing. The synopsis also hints at some big dark thing that, throws their families maybe in peril or leaves them not knowing if their families are okay or something to that extent. So I'm really looking forward to that too. I want to see what that is. And this kind of story, I'm hoping again for more feels. Up next is a kind of story I don't actually usually read, but this one called to me for some reason, and that is Ice Drift by Theodore Taylor. This is an adventure survival story about two boys in the 1800s who are fishing on an ice floe when the ice floe breaks away from the land and ends up kind of going against, I believe it is the Greenland Strait? Yes, Greenland Strait, and so they have to fend off vicious polar bears and not go hungry or freeze to death with 19th century technology. This book is not in the best condition, admittedly, but not even the worst of the ones that I got. And again, not usually the kind of book that I read. I don't usually do survival because the tension usually gets to me, even though a lot of characters don't even really die in survival books. Otherwise, they wouldn't be called survival books because no one would survive. But I'm interested in this one, and it's really short, so I'm thinking I could probably get through that in a day or even in one sitting if I was really working at it. The last two are both by the same author, and that is A Snicker of Magic and The Key to Extraordinary by Natalie Lloyd. These are both standalones, although they do definitely have the same kind of flair. I can see where the author is coming from in her style. This one, A Snicker of Magic, revolves around Felicity, who has a strange ability to collect words. She travels around the country with her little sister and her mom, collecting all these words, and I'm not quite sure what that means. The synopsis doesn't say, but I think it's something speculative. But there's one word that she's never collected, and that's the word home, until they come to Midnight Gulch. And this place is hopefully going to be where they can finally set down roots. Only problem is that this place apparently hasn't had magic. Magic all ran away or ran out or was banished or was cursed or whatever. And so everyone assumes that magic is gone, but Felicity thinks she can bring it back. I love books, again, with the premise of home and what it means to have a home. So that really, really called to me. I think it's going to have some of that like mid-grade charm of being very, very, very magical and being very literal in its magic. And I love that kind of stuff. The other one, also by Natalie Lloyd, The Key to Extraordinary. This revolves around a young girl named Emma, and everyone in her family, because again, more magical families, gets a destiny dream. And in this dream, it tells you the destiny of your life. And this could be anything from being a spy in the Revolutionary War to being a famous country singer. You're not really sure until you get the dream. Emma promises her mother, as she's dying, that she will do whatever it takes to follow her destiny. And then the destiny comes, and she's not that sure of it. Now, the book doesn't actually tell you what it is, which I kind of like, but it does something about a legendary treasure in a cemetery guarded by a singing ghost. And again, seems very, very more focused on maybe the contemporary elements of Emma not wanting to let her mother down or kind of wanting to push through, as well as the adorable speculative elements. I am really interested in that singing ghost. So those are all of my books. I really don't want to hold them up. There's so many. But that's all I've got for you today. If you've read any of these books, please comment down below. My guess would be that most people will likely have read the Rick Riordan book. But I'm interested if you've heard of any of the others. I am hopefully going to get to these soonish. I might do like a 24-hour readathon where I just tackle like 4 or 5 of them in one sitting and be done with a lot of it. But I will have to figure that out at a later point. I've gotten a lot of books lately and I gotta find time to read. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day and a marvelous tomorrow.